Hi everyone, it's Vahid Razavi. Event for Goa More, humanity's last hurrah or the start of love on the first of each month, 6 p.m. Pacific time. This is going to be a new event series. There are also a number of wonderful events that are being held this year on August 6th that I will include on our site as well as in our newsletter. Conversations need to focus on current events and what's taking place today. Places like Ukraine, Sudan, Gaza, West Bank, wars in Yemen, in Syria, even the assassination in Iran. We have a great number of speakers, musicians. Dr. Carl Blake.
If we think of our last hope for humanity, the first place we should start is in artistic expression. This piece is called Magnolia.
It has been now 300 days plus of inhumanity that we're witnessing in Palestine and the occupied territories and Gaza. There is no food, no water, women that are giving birth with C-section without anesthesia, kids that are having amputated legs without anesthesia. How many eyes have been taken? How many babies have been starved? How many mothers, how many leaders have been killed? Put an end to this. We all have that right. We all can stand up and say our part. In 1993, doomsday clock was 17 minutes away from the striking midnight. Now the threats have grown. It's not just nuclear weapons, it's AI. The atomic clock is now at 90 seconds or less. And what does the richest man in the world do? He goes and applauds alongside our congressman. Is he looking to go to Mars and have his rockets put out flames that burns humanity on the way up? I'm sure there are diamonds up there and lithium and other resources that you can exploit. So we don't have to get it from Congo, from Africa. That I'm going to review the principles of Goa More. Kamala Harris says, these principles did not fall out of a coconut tree. You should take them in context. Iranian American that has seen war, that had to come here as a result of a war. I had a spiritual journey that took me to synagogues and mosques and Buddhist temples. I found a community where Dr. Carl Blake performs his music, and it's a church of fellowship of all people. It's multi-ethnic diverse. I can't tell if people are Asians, Hispanics, Black, White, Middle Easterns. They all come there. That's what the world should be like. Jesus died on the cross, but he begged for water and he shouted out for water. And they gave him vinegar, made him more thirsty. The kids in Gaza today are shouting out for water, which covers most of our body. The water they're given, it's got polio, it's got typhoid, it's got cholera. It's 2024, people. How is that humane? How can people that order those kinds of men to go to battle receive applauses from our Congress? How dare these people applaud these actions? And I'm going to talk about the principles of love. These are just a start. So I'd like people to add to this list and make it longer. So the first principle of Goa More is the golden rule. The emphasis on others. Do unto others as you would want to have them do to you. The second rule is to choose freely, without prejudice and judgment, to your own cravings for knowledge and isms and affiliations and organizations and ideologies and religion and even artificial intelligence. You have the power of free will. Point number 3, which is the ability to terminate or continue a subscription to medicine, to knowledge, to institutions and AI. You should be able to cancel memberships. This whole notion of subscriptions is a pretty scary one. You know how it's easy to subscribe to services and news articles and journalists, news outlets, but then when you try to unsubscribe, good luck finding the button. It just isn't there. So people need to have the right to be able to cancel and be able to pay for services and ideologies as needed without long-term contractual obligation. Why do I need to pay for a newspaper that produces one article that's based on truth and the rest is based on false? Why should we have to support that? I want to just buy that one article and view it and support that journalist that wrote the truth. And I don't want to subscribe to the rest of their agenda. I don't care if you're Republican, if you're conservative, if you're Democrat. You want to subscribe and unsubscribe. You want to be able to read your content that you want to read. Why are we hooked in these lifetime subscriptions? Even medicine. They put out a drug and you got to be on it for life. Well, come on with better drugs that cures people of illnesses, as opposed to having a subscription that every week or every day you would have to take it on. And number 4 was something I learned in college here in the East Bay in Contra Costa from a great psychology professor that I had, and he would talk about Eric Fromm's book. And Eric Fromm was a psychologist, and he was Jewish, anti-Zionist, and he wrote the book The Art of Loving. And The Art of Loving has 4 basic principles that I want to share briefly, and that is to love with knowledge, respect, caring, and responsibility towards all others, as defined by the writer. With knowledge, you have to know the person. You have to know the entity. There's only 2 ways to know people. Either you spend time with them, you study them, share their pain, their suffering, or it's through torture and pain that you cause them, through the inhumanity. And he talks about knowledge through love.